Everybody, this is referee Sierra Nicole, and you're watching Scott Lawson's #Truth.
Watch it all fall down around you now. Was it ever really worth it? Having your kingdom crumble to the ground because you never had the courage. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
Tyson Mathis. He says you're the king of the spear. I promise you, when I lay that spear on you, you will feel the power of the anomaly. Anything else you got?
Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, Antonio, I'm cut from a different cloth, and they don't make them like me no more. They don't. Ron Simmons, Butch Reed, Bad News Brown, Stevie Ray, Booker T. I'm cut out of that cloth. I'm gonna hurt you, son.
There you go, everybody, and welcome to #Truth. Tonight we have the one, the only Mr. Thomas Mathis. How you doing tonight, sir?
What's up, Scott? It's nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Without a doubt, man. I love it. Now, we were talking a few minutes before the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you wrestle out of, who trained you, so we can get this thing started, man.
Sure. So right now I wrestle at WDWA in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I have several bookings with International Combat Sports through the year. They're based in Dunbar, West Virginia area, Bell, West Virginia. And then I have another show all the way out in Warsaw, Indiana.
Nice.
Yeah, lots of fun. Really happy to be here, having a great time.
Now I got to ask you, you said you're in West Virginia and you got a show all the way over in Indiana. Man, prices of everything is skyrocketing, especially gas. Now, I don't usually get, political on the show, but does that hurt young talent like yourself to get to where you're going? Do you have to ask for more money when you go over and wrestle in places like Indiana and other states?
Without a doubt, it's adversity for me. I'm sure everybody. I'm not alone in this. But if something's important enough to you, you're going to find a way to do it.
Right.
And,
right.
This is what I love to do. And I'll do it with a smile on my face. I'm not in it for the money. I love to perform and live my dream, but we're getting to a point where I have to start turning this into something a little more self-sustaining, or I'm just not going to be able to survive it.
Right.
And I'll find a way. I'll find a way. I always find a way. So.
Right. Exactly, man. Hey, being in West Virginia, I know there's a lot of great companies in that area. So you'll always have a place to wrestle, I imagine. But is there anybody there in West Virginia or even outside of West Virginia, maybe in Indiana, that you're looking forward to having a match with soon? That somebody out there that you haven't had a match with, but you're just dying to have one with them?
I would love to wrestle Congo Kong. That would be a thrilling experience, and I'm positive that I would learn a lot being in the ring with him. I was in the ring with him in an 8-man tag match, so I've never been in one of these before. And he tagged me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he tagged me!"
It wasn't one of those "oh my God, he touched me" moments, was it?
Kind of. I was, very honored to be in the ring with a guy like that who's done it all.
Hey, trust me, man. The first time I was, I got to interview the Rock and Roll Express. I looked like a kid in a candy store, man. My smile was just, and it was only like a 10-minute interview, but it was the world to me, man. I mean, just sitting there by, them two icons. I mean, I could imagine. I mean, any wrestler that's been in the business for a while like that and has a big name, I mean, you're like a fan yourself, even though you're a wrestler up on the apron and you're getting a tag from him. You're a fan watching him in the ring. Do you sometimes forget that, hey, this guy can teach me something? Do you find yourself reverting back to the fan that watched him on TV?
When I'm out there, I am in that moment, but subconsciously, my inner child is just skipping and doing cartwheels, and I love it.
Right, without a doubt, man, without a doubt. Now, what is your go-to move in the ring, man, that you like to use? I won't say your special or your finishing move, but when you're in a match, what is that? Most wrestlers have that one move that they want to pull off every match, or they practice so much they just want to do it every match. Do you have one of those moves?
I do, actually. It has saved me many times, and it's not flashy. It's nothing spectacular, but it's safe, and that's why I adopted it. It's not my move. It's the inverted backbreaker. Randy Orton was the first one I saw do it, and
Nice.
it is so useful. It is really, I don't see why you wouldn't use that move. I mean, it's safe.
It's one of those moves that look devastating, even though the effect of it looks devastating. But if you do it right, you don't feel a thing.
Right. I've been in the laboratory trying to find a way to make it more of my own.
Right.
And I just haven't come up with it yet. But maybe eventually, who knows? Randy Orton, I would love to, just shake his hand and just say thank you.
Right. I imagine, his cutter out of nowhere, as many wrestlers have adopted that and given it their own name, and DDP, his cutter, the same thing. It's just, there's a bunch of moves in wrestling that, and I'm glad to hear you say that. I want to take it and make it my own. I want to give it a little change and name it something that has to do with my character, because that's what fans are looking for. Yes, we're looking to, watch somebody and, like the Rock Bottom, the, People's Elbow, those moves have been around forever, but he made it his moves, gave it a name, and people know him to this day. I mean, you can go back all the way back to, Jerry the King Lawler and the Tombstone Pile Driver. You can go back, further than that. But I'm just saying, I love to hear that wrestlers are doing that. And it makes me as a fan want to come see people when they say, there's this move, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to give it my own name. And people love that, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of moves, lots of cool moves. But I tend to lean towards safe, effective moves that are like low risk and that I can do to anybody. And that's that.
You definitely want to be safe in the ring. I mean, you don't want to injure the other guy. That's the worst thing you could do, is to truly injure him, because then nobody's going to want to wrestle you. Because once the word gets out that you injure somebody or you're not safe to work with, that it's a hard road to get the respect back. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But if you're a really, safe worker, a lot of people will work a no-named safe worker quicker than they will a big name worker that isn't safe in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Safety first.
Gavin said, does AWL have a new graphic and video team? It's looking different. No, I got that video straight from your father, sir. Straight from your dad. All I did was put a black background on it. That was it. Luke Fury said, yo, what's going on, Mr. Luke? I hope you enjoyed that video I did earlier today. If you guys don't know, this is the kid I was talking about right here. Gavin said, bye. You have a great day, Gavin. And I can't wait to see AWL and 52 Reasons. That's going to be a great show out there at the Pavilion. If you ain't got your tickets already, please go get them. Now, Thomas, how long have you been wrestling?
It'll be 5 years in August.
5 years. Okay. So who right now, is there a person that you're training under right now, or are you basically, showing up to shows and people are, interacting with you and teaching you things? Are you at the point where you're going to shows, doing your own thing, but you're going, kind of sitting down by the veterans and pulling information from them?
I am taking the guidance of Congo Kong.
Nice.
More than anything, about being a character, the way you move, always being in that moment. Lots of stuff. Wrestling is very hard, and I'm only 5 years into it. I've had the privilege of learning under some phenomenal coaches, and I take what I can from everybody. I am in a phase where I'm doing a lot of film study. I'm looking way back in time, digging up everything that I can. My goal is to be the best that I can be. It isn't necessarily get signed or, get on AEW Dark or become famous or make all this money. I really just want to become the best wrestler that I can be. And I want to be the best person that I can be. I want to be the best version of myself. So it's a journey.
Hey, I hear you, man. You sound like me when people ask me about, podcasting. I've got a couple of rocks rattling around in my head and they can't do surgery because if they do, I got like a 10% chance to live. So I tell everybody, I got one foot in the grave, the other one's sliding quick, but I love podcasting. I love doing what we're doing right here. So to me, every day is a journey. Every day I get out of this bed behind me, I'm motivated because I get to meet guys like you who, you just told me straight up that it's not about the money. It's about, showing up, entertaining the fans, being the best I can be. That's what we want to hear. That's the people that a lot of people around me, fans that are around me, will follow, dude. Mr. Mathis, we would follow you in a heartbeat if you were in North Carolina. I'd love to see you come down in the North Carolina area down here and wrestle a little bit, without a doubt, man.
I would love to do that. I've gone as far south as Georgia. But I haven't broken into the state of, you said North Carolina?
Yes, North Carolina. North Carolina, you don't need a wrestling license, but if you come to South Carolina, where I live, you have to have a wrestling license for this state. Unfortunately, red tape, but it is what it is. But that's why a lot of us travel to North Carolina. But no, South Carolina has great wrestling too, but you have to get a license through the commission to wrestle down here, but there are a lot of great wrestlers in both states. Ron Emerson Jr. said, what's good, Scott? Let me tell you what's good, man. This guy right here, Mr. Thomas Mathis, he's been sitting here talking to me for the last 15 minutes about his career. But now, since we got Ron Emerson Jr. on here, I'm going to play the intro to his show. Guys, every Sunday, for a fact, this guy comes on and does a podcast. He is great. He does indies. He does AEW. He does WWE. He is he has got the background, or he is in tight with all these places around here that I can't get to. Great show. It's called The Wrestling Wire. Let me play this quick commercial to tell you all about The Wrestling Wire. And then when we get back out, we're going to have a lot more. If you have any questions for Thomas Mathis, put them up on the screen. I'd be more than happy to ask them. We'll be right back after this quick message from The Wrestling Wire. Ron Emerson and The Wrestling Wire every Sunday, 4 p.m., but he also does shows throughout the week. So go make sure you make a friend of Ron Emerson Jr. That way you know when he does his podcast. Great show. I watch it, and I also share it every time he does it. He does the same thing for me. Great show. So, Thomas, you said that the last time you got interviewed was about 2 years ago. Do you remember what podcast you were on?
It was a guy out in New Jersey. I think it was Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast.
Death Rat? Oh, do you do death matches?
No.
That was a quick no. So what is it about death matches that makes you answer like that?
Well, I have a life outside of wrestling, for starters.
Very good.
My body is my temple, and I respect my own body.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to have now. And again, I death matches aren't my scene either. I'll watch them. Don't get me wrong, but I am like you, dude. Why would you want to go through that? And 10 years from now, you can't do anything because you can't walk. You can't. You're cut up all over your face and your head, and it's great entertainment. Don't get me wrong. The people that do it, I don't. There's a thin line between awesome and insanity, I guess. It's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But I can understand why you say that. You have a family, because I wouldn't want light tubes crushed across my head. I wouldn't want a weed eater ran up and down my body. Stuff like that, just not everyday things that I'd want to happen to me. It's hard enough to get through a wrestling match without getting hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's longevity, like self-preservation. I would like to be able to do this, into my 40s.
Right.
I take really good care of myself in the gym. I work out adamantly, passionately every day. And I fully count on being something to see into my 40s. I mean, I haven't even reached my prime yet. I mean, I might go on it. When I'm 35 in 5 years, I'll probably peak, but I'll be able to hang on to that with the way that I take care of myself into my 40s. Go. I mean, 45.
I got a question about that. Brian Sisk said, "Hello, Scott and Thomas. Hope you are both doing well. I know I'm doing well. I'm having a great conversation with Mr. Mathis here. You said you take care of yourself."
Yes,
now, that was one of my questions for the next segment, but we're going to go right into it right now. How do you prepare for a match? Go through a day with Thomas Mathis on fight day. When you get up on a Saturday morning, or whenever you're getting ready to go to a wrestling show, take me through your day from when you wake up till you get to the show.
So the night before, I make sure that go to bed early. I like to have my bag prepared the night before, and I get great sleep that day coming into Saturday, and it's a really smooth sequence for me at this point. I wake up. I usually don't eat until after the event. But I'll wake up, I'll have my Dark Magic black coffee. I'll take a shower.
Gotta have the coffee, man. Gotta wake up.
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir. I'll probably then start heading to the event very early. And I'll get there well ahead of time, help out where I'm needed. It's great when I have a chance to warm up a little bit in the ring, get the feel for the ring, especially if I hadn't been at this place before. There's something I do in my entrance. I skin the cat to get into the ring as part of my entrance, and I like to kind of feel that before I
skin the cat. I've never heard that expression before. Explain to me what that means.
So it's Shawn Michaels used to do it a lot. It's when you're you reach up with both hands and you kick your feet up and you kind of pulse up into the ring and you land on your feet. So
I know what you're talking about. Okay, I got you. I
do it because I'm absolute most of the time, and it's something that takes some abdominal strength. So kind of put it into my entrance.
Have you ever went to do it and accidentally missed?
No.
Hey, you never know. It could happen. I never wish you bad things, but there's always that one time where you misjudge something, and I hope it never happens to you, sir. But I had to ask. It is a podcast.
That would be embarrassing, but if it happened, I mean, I'm going to embrace it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you would rub it off and act like that was supposed to happen, right? I mean, you just, you figure out something on the fly. I could tell that you're that kind of guy. You'd be like, yeah, I meant for that to happen. Yeah.
It would be easy. It would be easy if I were a heel, because the fans would probably laugh. But sometimes I work babyface as well, and I find babyface to be more challenging. Right.
Well, babyface is always more challenging because you have to, number one, you have to get sympathy from the crowd. So in other words, you're going to have to take a little bit of a beating from the bad guy. You always want sympathy. And number two, you can't just say what you want. Like a bad guy, I won't take it that far. You can't say what you want, but bad guys, can be more loose with the tongue. You have to be nice all the time, so you can differentiate from the good guys, the bad guys. But now in today's wrestling, we have this thing called a tweener, and it drives me nuts to have somebody be a tweener, because to me, that ruins wrestling. Because to me, wrestling is a battle between good and evil set to violence. And if you have a tweener, some people get confused. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. If it were up to me, if I could control it, which I can't, I can't control how I'm booked, but I would be heel. But I'm booked as babyface. I'm booked as heel. All I can do is
you could just go in and a promoter says, hey, this is what I want. Go in there and do it. And you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. All I can do is give it my maximum effort and be a professional.
Michael King, yes, I agree 100%. He said everyone wants to be a tweener and it isn't helpful. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, I won't buy any merch from a tweener. And that's not being rude. I'm just saying, because if I'm wearing a babyface guy right here, and every time I show up to a show, 95% of the shows I show up to with him in it, he's a baby. Because he does baby better than heel, and then there's the guys out there that do heel better than baby. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the guys who can do both. There's guys who can do both. It doesn't matter. And that's few and far between, and be good at both of them. That's few and far between. But, I just don't like the tweener thing. I don't like it in WWE. I don't like it. I want good versus evil. And that makes a match to me. And then tell a story. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. A goal of mine is to be adept at both. And
exactly.
And I'm confident with my heel work. Not that it's a final product. I mean, it's a long way to go.
Now, how do you feel? How do you feel about doing promos? Are you a big promo guy?
Yeah, I'm really comfortable with the promos. Babyface, I've had to take on a whole new gimmick, as a babyface, and I'm the Warsaw Warrior. And I've looked back to the Ultimate Warrior a lot, and the fans seem to like that kind of cartoony stuff up there.
Right.
So I've been practicing the babyface persona more, just trying to set myself apart. I don't want to be too much. I can't be Ultimate. I'm not Ultimate Warrior. I'm Thomas Mathis.
Right, without a doubt. Well, first of all, we can understand every word that comes out of your mouth, so you definitely can't be the Ultimate Warrior. I'm just joking. Brian says if he comes down to North Carolina, he would definitely have to play heel. He would love to see you play heel.
Yeah, I would love to do
it.
Yeah,
Ron Emerson said there's also a big difference in being a cool heel versus tweener. That there is. I'd rather you be a cool heel than a tweener. I mean, at least we know you're heel. Good versus evil. That's just me. I'm sorry. I guess I was raised in old school Memphis wrestling where you knew there was a good guy and a bad guy, and if anybody interfered, they either helped the good guy or the bad guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
There's also he just said the same thing. Oh, no, he didn't. There's also a difference between a cool heel that people gravitate to and a tweener. Yes. I agree with that. But I just don't like tweeners, period. I just don't. I love people to be one or the other. That's just me. I mean, everybody has, their kind of wrestler that they like to go see. Like me, I'm more of a grounded pound guy. I love to go watch people who grounded pound, but I will watch an aerial guy, as long as he knows what he's doing and he's telling a story and not just running spots. I love to watch that too, but I am more of a ground and pound wrestler. I want to see chain wrestling. I am a chain wrestling fanatic. If you can get in there and twist and turn your opponent and you can do reverses and he can do that's when I love to watch. I'll sit down and watch a wrestling match like that in a heartbeat. How are you with your chain wrestling and stuff like that? Do you work on that daily?
I'm really confident. That's an area of strength for me. Dr. Tom Pritchard, he really branded the fundamentals into my brain with a hot piece of metal. Literally, he's a phenomenal coach. And it's his teachings, his coaching is like a fail-safe for me. I'm really confident with my my fundamentals. Not that they don't need, not that they couldn't continue being polished off. Like I said, professional wrestling is extremely hard. I mean, I'm 5 years in. I've had 119 matches. I've probably had anywhere between 350 and 500 practice matches. There are guys out there who've done this their entire lives, and it's going to be a long journey. But I'm very confident with my fundamentals, and it's all thanks to Dr. Tom Pritchard. He's a phenomenal coach. I'm with you. It's nice to hear you say that you like chain wrestling and grappling and stuff like that.
Like I said, I grew up on that, man. When you see somebody do reverses, twists, and turns, and they know wrestling. Dean Malenko was such an underrated wrestler. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know who Dean Malenko is, anybody out there watching go look him up. Look him up in the WCW days or wherever he was at. Dean Malenko was called the man of 1,000 holds for a reason. The man knew how to wrestle. He wrestled. It wasn't flash. It wasn't jump off the top rope and do a 640. No, the man wrestled.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people called him boring, but not me. I love to watch Dean Malenko, man.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's sad that a lot of people have like the attention span of maybe 0.5 seconds, and they don't appreciate good storytelling, and they don't appreciate, that element, that scoop of ice cream, if you will.
There you go. Man, these guys are flying. Let me catch up on some of these before I lose them all, man. Jimmy Ward said it's hard to find a good manager in the business today. We will get back to that, sir, because I agree with you. Ron Emerson said, like the old King Enterprises faction were cool heels as opposed to like the Miz version of a heel. I like bastard heels better than bitch heels, if that makes sense. No, it makes perfect sense. I know exactly what you're saying. Mitch says brew. Okay, we're gonna move on. He's talking about my brew crew. I gotta move on. You know I love you, Mitch. Ron said agree with that too. Hence, that's why I think the best match of Double or Nothing was D versus Rose, and I agree with you 100%. I thought that was the best match of the night, without a doubt. 1,000 Holds was a technical genius. Yes, he was, without a doubt. Some of the greatest matches, man. And I know people don't like hearing his name, but him versus, and here my mind just went blank. My mind just went blank. Oh well, whatever. I had a match with him in my head against another guy, and my mind just went totally blank. Rhonda said, hey, what's up, Scott? How you doing, Rhonda? Watching us on YouTube. Thank you very much. We are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and on Rumble. Please go subscribe to me on Rumble. Greatly appreciated. I can actually make money off of Rumble, guys. You can help me out a little bit. I'm just throwing it out there. Thomas, who has been your greatest opponent that you have wrestled so far? Brian wants to know.
Oh, that's a cool question. I think that the best that I've faced so far is probably Justin Idol. He's from Pittsburgh. He's a joy to work with. Easy. Really nice guy. Friendly. He was very receptive to my creativity, and we just gelled so well together. It was just I wish everybody was like Justin Idol. Really
isn't that amazing how sometimes you can just get in the ring and not know until it's over that, man, you look across the ring and it's just another wrestler you're going to wrestle. But then when you start it off, you realize, man, this is magic.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I had a great time with him in the ring. He was my first match ever. And then I got to wrestle him again later on. And probably one of the best matches I've had so far.
Ron Emerson can read my mind, so that's a good thing. The other name you forgot was Chris Benoit. Yes, that was the name I was trying to remember. Him and Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit having their rest. And somebody else mentioned too up here, Eddie Guerrero. Somebody mentioned Eddie up here. Who was it? Yeah, Mitch did. Him and Eddie was always a classic. Those two guys, man. Great classic matches. Now, where would you put yourself if you had to name the type of wrestler you are? What would you call yourself?
I think that I maybe emulate a couple people, maybe Rick Rude, someone like that. But
so Rick Rude was pretty technical, so you'd call yourself a technical wrestler. Sort of like let me think. Again, my mind went blank. I'm having a bad day, Ron. Help me out.
No problem. I think that my attributes are very well-rounded, and I like it that way. I don't want to have any weaknesses. And if I find a weakness, I'm going to attack it, and I'm going to make it a strength. And
that's what wrestlers should do. Whatever happened, and that's another thing that's kind of lost in today's wrestling. That I won't say lost, but he read my mind again. That's another thing that's lost in today's wrestling that you don't see a lot of. What happened to the days where a wrestling match starts off, if you have two technical wrestlers and one starts working a limb and keeps working that limb and keeps working that limb and keeps working that limb, and then you have the guy that sells for you. And that's magic to me. I mean, one of the best was Ric Flair. No matter who he was wrestling, Ric Flair could sell for a broom if it was in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Love Ric Flair. I've studied him thoroughly.
Hey, there he goes, reading my mind again. Kurt Hennig, yes, Mr. Perfect. That was the technical wrestler I was thinking of. But Yeah, Ron, maybe I should have you do this interview, bro. I'm, oh man, it's bad. That's exactly what Brino Royce does today. Yes, I agree, 100%, 100%. He's a local wrestler here. If you don't know who he is, Mr. Mathis, he is the Rolls Royce of wrestling.
Oh, that sounds.
That's what he calls himself. So
I like it.
Oh yeah, had a big signing here. Now, see, that's what I like, storylines, man. The places that you wrestle there in West Virginia, and you say you're going over to Indiana, are they employing storylines? Do you find yourself going to places where these promoters, these bookers are implementing storylines that continue? I'm not talking about just a one night thing. I'm talking about a continue where you might go back 2-3 weeks, or maybe 2, 3, 4 shows, depending on they might run every 2 weeks or every month or whatever. But do you find yourself in a continuing storyline?
There's not a lot of depth to any angle that I'm involved in at this level.
Okay.
But I mean, there are feuds where we'll go back and forth. I am working with the blue chipper Jordan Evans, and he's pretty damn good. Excuse my
right.
And we're gonna be working to something, and that's nice. I mean, and that's pretty much the extent of any kind of story that is at this level.
That Brian has another great question. Brian, maybe you could take over my podcast today. What are your goals, and where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
My goals are to become the best wrestler that I can be, and I feel like I have control over that.
Right.
And that's why I'm comfortable with it. That's the goal, to become the best that I can be, to become the best version of myself, every day, improve. Really, that's the goal, to have fun, to not allow bitter people to infect me, because there's a lot of bitterness.
There's a ton of those in wrestling, sir. Yeah, that's going to be a hard thing to do, but if you can do it, kudos to you. I'm a podcaster, and I come across people every day who, negative Nellies. They don't have anything nice to say about anybody, man. And I've been in the business for 25 years, and I know good when I see it. And 3 months down the line, that person they said was no good is on AEW Dark. So go figure, right? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. There are a lot of talented wrestlers out there, and it's a big world. And all I can do is give it my best effort. And I am pouring myself into this with a smile on my face. It is.
There you go.
I wake up in the morning like you, and I'm pumped up. I'm motivated.
Exactly.
It's such a fun adventure. It adds so much color to my life in an otherwise very gray world. Very mindless kind of day is just colored by these dreams. And I'm going to do it as long as I can.
Right. How do you do your training now? Do you do it on wrestling day now, or do you pick a night of the week and go to the gym? Do you go, somewhere where there's a wrestling ring and train there? How do you do your training?
Right now I'm not actively training. I would be if I had that opportunity. But I don't have any ring or dojo or coach or any friends like that who would want me in their class.
You got to reach out, bro. They're all over. West Virginia has a ton of them. You got to find them, man. They're out there. Trust me, they are out there without a doubt.
Money, travel, time.
Now the money part I could understand without a doubt, man, because I haven't been able to go to a lot of shows here in the last 2-3 months because of, inflation and all that other stuff we were talking about earlier. So I can understand that without a doubt.
Yeah.
But you should always, and I'm not telling you what to do by any means. I'm just a fan, but always try to find somewhere to train, man. You should be able to throw a rock in West Virginia, brother, and find somebody that's doing something. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have to do a payment plan, it's worth your while, bro. It's worth your while.
Yeah, I was very, very lucky. I trained a lot during the COVID era, and I was putting in some serious work, and I got 100 times better during that time. And I got to train with many phenomenal coaches like Dr. Tom Pritchard, for example. And like I said, he has branded those fundamentals into my mind, in my brain, in my body, in my nervous system, and
Right.
it's like a fail-safe.
Right.
I'm not saying that I'm done training because I mean I can learn something from everybody, but luckily I've had up at this point in the last 5 years I've done a lot of training. And I now it's very nice because I'll be on Facebook and see something from the WWE, just a little chain move. I saw Ronda Rousey do it to I can't remember who, but I just asked my girlfriend to come here, and I did it to her.
There you go.
So,
hey.
Yeah, it's
If that's a way to practice, that's a way to practice. Come here. If you start screaming, let me know if this hurts.
No,
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, it's just
get it done.
The moves, they look flashy. The chain stuff looks flashy, but it's really it's not. How do I put this? It's not like it's too complicated, I guess.
Right. Brian said, Thomas, you have a great attitude and a great outlook for the wrestling profession. Keep up the great work and you will go far. Thank
you. That means a lot.
Missy said, you will learn something new every time. Yes, you will. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to hit this commercial break, and then when we come out, if you guys have any questions for Thomas Mathis, please put them up on the screen. We're going to get into our last segment, and toward the end of that segment, Thomas is going to tell us where he's going to be for upcoming shows, where we can find him on social media, and all the like. So stay tuned for that, without a doubt. And if you're a promoter out there, keep watching #Truth, because this man has a lot more to say. We'll be right back after this quick commercial from HVW that's coming back this Saturday in Marion. You don't want to miss it.
The stars of High Velocity Wrestling return with Arrival on Saturday, June 18th, live from the Municipal Event Center in Marion, North Carolina. Come see the HVW champion, the Greek Wolverine, Crucifix, the HVW Tag Team Champions, the New Age Villains, and much more. It's HVW's debut in Marion, and you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned to High Velocity Wrestling's social media for more updates, including match announcements, ticket information, and a lot more to come. We'll see you on June 18th.
June 18th in Marion, High Velocity Wrestling. You don't want to miss that show. One of the guys that's going to be there is the American Badass, JD Drake. Man, I want to be there so bad. I hope I can make it. I'm really going to try to make it to that show. I've been advertising the snot out of that show since it came out. I love HVW and everything that they're doing out there. It is a great show. So if you had to name a place that, and I believe you probably have, but it slips my mind. If you had to name a place and call it home, what place would that be?
Definitely WDWA.
Okay.
Definitely. I was with another promotion in the same area, basically. It's like maybe I was in Kearneysville, but it's right next to Martinsburg, which is where WDWA is. And in Kearneysville, at this promotion, it was called EPPW. I found success there, and I think I earned some respect, and the fans, it was unfortunately they folded due to COVID. But WDWA is there, and I feel like those guys are like my tribe. If you could,
There you go.
that,
There
yeah.
you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's like HWA and myself, you know.
Yeah.
I until recently I didn't miss a show for 4 years, and then all of a sudden some bad things started happening to me and my family, and I missed like 4 or 5 shows in a row. But I'm getting back on track starting this Saturday. I'm going to be out at HWA this Saturday without a doubt. Ron said you're never done training. All the folks I work with learn every day. That is true.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait for this Saturday. Scott Larson, are you making the run for this show? I probably won't be at HVW. I'm going out to HWA, but I will definitely have my eyes and ears open on Facebook and YouTube to see if they're going to show any of the matches on there, because I am really looking forward to hearing about that show. Brian, another great question. Do you prefer singles or tag action?
I don't have a preference. I like both, to be honest with you. It's hard to pick. I just love to wrestle. I love to perform. I love the fans. Any opportunity that I get to put on my boots, I'm all for it. You know, whether it be in a Ironman match or whether it be me as a lumberjack. Any opportunity I have to get out there is great.
How did it feel when the first time you ever walked through a curtain, man? The first time you walked out for your very first wrestling match, how did it feel, man?
I was pumped up. I was a different person back then. I was young and brash, and I was gun ho, and I was like a missile out of a cannon, and I came out and I hit it hard, and I had a good match with Justin Idol, that the professional that I mentioned earlier,
Right.
and it was a great experience, and it went well, and I got a lot of confidence after that, and I wanted more, and I was just
Right.
so young, and I didn't know anything.
Have you ever been in a match and something go terribly wrong, like you missed a move, or somebody accidentally gave you a receipt, as they call it in the business, or they actually hit you, or or a move didn't go quite the way it was supposed to go and you landed wrong? How did you react to that the first time it happened?
Well, my second match, I was working with another raw slab of beef, basically. And of course, the match, didn't go right. So that was one experience. I told him to take me home, and the finish got screwed up. So the veterans in the back they tore into my bottom, and that kind of leveled the playing field. So I had a good experience with Justin Idol, and then I had a bad experience.
There you go.
All kinds of tastes. Yeah, I've been shooted on before in the ring, a bunch of times. All I can do is be a professional. I've hit the mat wrong and been seriously injured. It happens. I mean, look at
Right.
Big E, a professional in every right.
Brian wants to know, what is the name of your finishing move?
I don't have a finishing move.
You don't have a finishing move?
My biggest move is the Rude Awakening, and it's not my move.
Right.
It's a tool.
Right.
I need something, and if I hit that, they're done. That's the biggest weapon that I have. I have a personalized version of the Blue Thunder Bomb called the Spiral.
Okay.
I have that. That's another bomb. I have the sharpshooter.
What you're basically saying is you don't have one way to finish a match, which is a finishing move. You use multiple.
I'm not established with any I haven't been able to condition an audience enough to have that kind of that established finish. I just haven't had those opportunities.
Okay. I understand that. So what is the biggest crowd? You say that. So what is the biggest crowd you've ever worked in front of?
Probably like maybe 300.
300 people? Well, that's not a bad crowd for an indie wrestling,
Not
place.
at all. Yeah.
Timothy Godfrey, what's up, man? How are you doing? If you have any questions, Mr. Timothy, for Thomas Mathis, please put them up on the screen, man. We're having a good time talking with him. We got a few minutes left. And while you guys are thinking of questions, Thomas, tell us where you're going to be coming up in the near future, and tell us where we can find you if we're a promoter or if we're a fan. If we want to look you up on Facebook and ask you some questions ourselves, where can we find you?
So you can find me at WDWA. I have a couple of dates confirmed with them. International Combat Sports, I have several dates with them confirmed. We have Functified Wrestling Alliance, FWF, over there in Warsaw, Indiana. I have, I think, 4 more there. But I'm sure that they'll add more. The way they do things is a little different. But I have lots. I work almost every weekend this summer, and that's a dream come true.
Wow, that's pretty good to be booked that often. That is good.
Yeah, 3 different shows, and I'm working, so I'm getting booked consistently. So that's success for me, and that makes me happy.
Brian said, "Good luck to you, sir," and it was great talking with you.
Thank you, Brian.
Without a doubt, man. So. This is a question I like asking everybody who comes in. You've been here for 5. You've been in the wrestling business for 5 years. What would the Thomas Mathis of today tell the Thomas Mathis that started wrestling 5 years ago? What would you tell that Thomas Mathis?
Keep your head up. Yeah, keep your head up, because there's a lot there. I would tell myself not to care what other people think of me.
Right.
But looking back, how was I supposed to know? It's a journey, and we learn as we go.
Right.
Just not caring who has a problem with themselves and projects it onto me. Just to ignore it. Just to focus on yourself.
That's a hard thing to do for a lot of people, man. I love that you say that because it is very hard. Oh, speaking of the Rolls Royce of wrestling, there he is, Mr. Brino Royce. He said, "Boys, much love." Yes, sir. Welcome to Hashtag Truth. Even though you caught the tail end of it, Brino, go back and watch it all the way through. We were talking with Mr. Thomas Mathis and his career. Lee Walden showed up. Hey, what's up, Scott? Hey, how you doing? Again, I am speaking with Thomas Mathis. If you guys are joining this late, unfortunately, you are hitting the end of the show. But I please go back and watch this. And I'm going to reiterate one more time. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on YouTube. But please go to Rumble and subscribe to Hashtag Truth. All one word, Hashtag Truth, on Rumble. And you can help me make some money every time you watch a video over there. So I appreciate it. It all goes back into the show. Of course, you guys know that. And me traveling and asking a bunch of people like this awesome gentleman we're talking to tonight a ton of questions. I get to go do it in person. So Thomas Mathis, I'm going to give you the floor for the next 1 minute. Tell everybody out there what they need to know about Mr. Thomas Mathis. If I'm a promoter watching Hashtag Truth, what can you give a promotion?
You're going to get a team player. You're going to get a guy who will go above and beyond. You're going to get a professional. You're going to get someone who has good foundation and fundamentals. I'm someone that can work with a greenhorn and I can help him through the match. You would get a very competent heel in me. You would get a guy who has very nice gear. You would get a guy who has a beautiful physique. You're going to get a guy who, cares a lot about the fans. I'm not a selfish wrestler. There are lots of selfish wrestlers out there. I'm not someone who, just wants to get his stuff in or anything like that. My goal is to entertain your audience. I'm not in it for the money. I'm really just out here trying to become the best wrestler that I can be. And I'm on my journey. So I would love to
There you go,
be there.
man. I appreciate that. And it was a pleasure interviewing you tonight, sir. I hope everybody out there enjoyed the interview. I hope you get a ton of bookings. Share away, everybody. You know how it goes here on #Truth. And, man, I would love to have you back in the future, man, and talk to you and see where you're at maybe in another year or so.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, man. And thank you for sticking with me, even though I didn't get your advertisement out there till late. Like I said, I had a lot of things going, but we had a pretty good show tonight. We had some people watching. We had some people asking questions. I want to thank everybody: Ron Emerson, Lee Walden, Brino Royce, Brian Sisk, Timothy Godfrey, Rhonda. Gosh, we had a bunch of people watching tonight. Jimmy Ward, Michael King came on for a little while. Gavin Tyler, Luke Fury was on. Mitch was on. We had a lot of people on here. And Missy, of course. Don't want to forget about Missy. And all of them were watching tonight and having a good time. And I'm pretty sure that we'll have another good time in about a year. How about that?
That sounds like a plan. Thank you so much, Scott.
There you go. Thomas Mathis, ladies and gentlemen. Go check him out in West Virginia. He is a great guy and a great wrestler. And that is the #Truth. We will see you guys Wednesday night. As a matter of fact, wait a minute. I'm booked all week. I've got #Truth Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tomorrow night, I'm doing HWA show. And Thursday night, I'm doing Thursday night Slapdown. So all week, you can come on my Facebook page and you will see a show at 7 p.m., 7:05 on Thursday. So again, I appreciate it, Mr. Mathis. Great wrestler. Go out in West Virginia and check him out. And that is the #.